Alrighty, guys. So the last thing that we need to do is now code our level transitions. So to start off, we're going to go ahead and click on our yellow events tab, and we're going to add a when I receive green flag. Once we do this, we're going to go into looks and add a hide because we don't want it to show up automatically. We actually don't want it uh, anywhere near us. So we're going to also click, hold, and drag it to the up left-hand corner, just so that all of the level transition pieces starts off from one point and then goes down. Now that we've done this, the next thing we want to do is tell it exactly what effect we want it to do when we do have a new level. So we're going to go into our yellow events tab. We're going to add another when I receive green flag, and we're going to change this one to next level. Once we've done this, we're going to go into looks, add a show. Then in control, we're going to add a repeat 10 and change this to 20. This number is going to be the amount of pieces that we have here showing before it falls. So if you want to add more, you can put the number a little bit higher. Anything over 50 will take too long for it to show before the player is able to play the game. So just keep it between 20 and 50 and you should be all set. So the next thing that we're going to do is still inside of control, we're going to add a create clone of myself. Then we're going to go into looks, and we're going to add a change color effect by 25, and this number you guys can change to anything. This doesn't matter too much. Then we're going to go into the motions tab, and we're going to add a go to XY block. Still inside of the motions tab, we're just going to move a little bit down and use the Y position bubble and put it in the Y. And then for the X, we're going to go into operators and add a pick random. And we're changing the 1 to negative 233 and the 10 to 233. Once we have that, we're going to go back into control. We're going to add a weight underneath that and change this to 0.5. That might take a little bit too long, so we'll do 0.1 or 0.1. That'll be better. Right, and then the last thing we'll do is all the way at the bottom, we're just going to go into looks and add a hide. So now that we have this, we need it to also delete itself at certain points. So right underneath this, we're going to go into control, and we're going to add when I start as a clone. I'm going to add a repeat until that you can find inside of control. And then we're going to go into sensing and use touching. And we're going to change this to edge. So edge is just the borders of your actual screen. So when one of these pieces touches the bottom of it, it will automatically be deleted. So inside of the repeat until, we're going to go into the blue motions tab, and we're going to add a change Y by. And we're going to change this to -8. And then all the way at the bottom, we're going to go into control and add this delete this clone. So looking at the entire code, when we click on the green flag, it hides our level transition. When we go to the next level, what we're going to do is we're going to show. We're going to repeat what we've created 20 times. And then we're going to pick a random position in the X, so that's the horizontal. And then in the Y is going to change by going down. And then once it's completely down, it'll delete itself once it's touching the edge. So now this last piece is going to be for those of you who did extra level transitions. So for example, I only have 2, but for those of you who created one for every level, then what you'll want to do is you'll want to go into the yellow events tab and add a when green flag clicked. We're not going to do anything like this one. We're going to leave it as hide. But for this one, we're going to go into out of control, and we're going to add a forever, and then we're going to add a if then inside of that forever. Inside of the rhombus shape of the if then, we're going to add an equal sign. And you guys should know what's coming up next. So in the variables tab, we're going to add the level bubble into the empty side. And the 50, we're just going to change it to the level that we want. So let's say for level 2, because again, we won't have it for level 1, we're going to have it for level 2. So I can show you. So in costume, right, we're not going to have a level transition for 1 because nothing happens at 1, but it will happen at 2 because there's a gap between 1 and 2. There's a gap between 3 and 4, a gap in between 4 and 5, and a gap between 5 and 6. So those are where you're going to be adding it. So that's why I'm starting with 2 instead of 1. So once we're in level 2, we can go into looks, add a switch costume to, and then switch to the costume that you want to show. So let's say I want to have my first costume show, then that's awesome. Now for my next level, I can just hover over the if, right click and duplicate it and add it in the bottom. Change this to level 3. So when I go into my level 3, I want to transition it now with my second costume. And now this should be set. So you guys just continue doing this until you reach your level 6 or whatever level you guys finish off from in your game. And then you have this cool level effect. So I'm going to test this out just so you guys kind of get to see how it looks like. But I'm just going to do this one last thing. This part you don't have to do. This is only because I'm trying to just make this a little bit quicker to just show you guys how it will work. So we're going to click on the green flag. And then when I go to my next level, I have this cool little level effect before I start my next one. And then that will be the effect that will happen. And again, for my next level, I have the second costume. So it's going to show this one instead. So that's basically the main parts of creating the code for the level transition. So again, it's just hiding it. It's creating exactly what we want, and we can tweak certain numbers. So we can tweak the change color effect if you want certain colors, and you can tweak the repeat to show more than the 20 pieces that falls down. And then you have this, which is just making sure when to delete it. And then for those of you who created extra level transition pieces, this is where you're going to be telling it exactly which pieces you want to use for every level transition.